Unveiling the unthinkable teacher scandals exposed. Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into some of the most shocking teacher scandals that have rocked schools across the country. These incidents have left both students and parents in utter disbelief. These stories are not just about inappropriate relationships, but also about the severe consequences that followed, affecting everyone involved. From suggestive social media posts to illicit affairs that ended up in the courtroom, these actions have had far-reaching implications. We're uncovering the dark side of those who stepped far beyond their professional boundaries, betraying the trust placed in them. Each case not only sparked outrage but also led to serious legal repercussions and societal debates about ethics in education. The fallout from these scandals has been immense. Let's delve into these controversial incidents and understand the impact they've had on the communities involved. These stories have ignited passionate discussions and calls for stricter regulations. Join us as we explore these cautionary tales that remind us of the importance of maintaining professionalism in educational settings. It's a stark reminder of the responsibilities educators hold. The case of Carly McKinney. Carly McKinney, a first-year math teacher at Overland High School in Aurora, Colorado, found herself at the center of a scandal when her Twitter account, Carly Crunk Bear, came to light. The account, which she had created for personal use, quickly became a public spectacle. The account featured inappropriate jokes and suggestive photos, which she claimed were meant to be satirical as part of a parody. McKinney argued that her posts were taken out of context and were never intended to be seen by her students or colleagues. Despite her defense, the school district took immediate action. They held a series of meetings to discuss the implications of her online behavior and its impact on the school's reputation. After a brief suspension, McKinney was terminated from her position, sparking a debate about privacy and professionalism on social media. Her termination raised questions about the boundaries of free speech for educators. This case highlights the blurred lines between personal and professional life in the digital age. With the rise of social media, the distinction between what is private and what is public has become increasingly complex. It serves as a stark reminder to educators about the scrutiny they face and the standards they are held to. Teachers are often seen as role models, and their actions both online and offline are closely watched. The community reaction was mixed, with some defending her right to a private life, while others condemned her actions as unbecoming of a teacher. The case of Carly McKinney continues to be a topic of discussion, reflecting broader societal debates about privacy, professionalism, and the role of social media in our lives. Sarah Jones, from cheerleader to offender. Sarah Jones, once a cheerleader for the Cincinnati Bengals, was admired for her athleticism and spirit. She found her career in education derailed when she became involved with a 17-year-old student at Dixie Heights High School, where she was a teacher. The inappropriate relationship led to criminal charges, and Jones eventually pleaded guilty to having sex with a minor, a serious offense. The scandal was sensationalized due to her high-profile background as a cheerleader, leading to intense media scrutiny and public outrage. In a surprising turn of events, Jones later announced her engagement to the student, which only fueled public and media interest in the case, making headlines nationwide. This chapter examines the legal consequences Jones faced, including her sentencing and the impact on her career. It also delves into the ethical considerations of teacher-student relationships, highlighting the inherent power imbalance, and the societal reactions to such breaches of trust, which often lead to calls for stricter regulations. Her case is often cited in discussions about the power dynamics in teacher-student relationships, serving as a cautionary tale, and the responsibilities educators have to their students, emphasizing the importance of maintaining professional boundaries. Lindsay Massaro's fall from grace. Lindsay Massaro, a student teacher at Frankfort Elementary School, was thrust into the national spotlight when she was convicted of second-degree sexual assault for her affair with a 15-year-old student. Sentenced to 3 years in prison and required to register as a sex offender, Massaro's life and career were irrevocably altered. This case raises questions about the checks and balances in place within educational institutions to prevent such relationships. It also explores the psychological and emotional impact on the victims of these scandals. Massaro's story is a grim reminder of the lasting consequences of crossing professional boundaries, not only for the individuals directly involved, but also for the wider school community. Chapter 4, Michelle Preston, A Double Life Exposed. Michelle Preston, a respected teacher at Shawnee Mission West High School, shocked her community when it was revealed that she had engaged in sexual relationships with two of her students. After her arrest, Preston faced not only legal battles but also widespread public condemnation. She was sentenced to 36 months of probation and required to register as a sex offender, though her record was later expunged following her probation period. This chapter delves into the dual aspects of Preston's life, examining how a once-trusted educator could lead such a clandestine existence. The repercussions of her actions on the students, the school, and her own life provide a complex narrative about the consequences of such misconduct. Pamela Rogers Turner, a forbidden affair. Pamela Rogers Turner, a former basketball coach, became infamous for her affair with a 13-year-old student. Initially sentenced to 270 days in jail with an 8-year suspended sentence, Turner's continued inappropriate behavior, including sending explicit materials to the same student, led to additional prison time. This chapter examines Turner's repeated transgressions and the judicial system's response to her actions. Her case is particularly notable for the discussions it sparked about gender perceptions in sexual offenses and the challenges in rehabilitating offenders. The story of Pamela Rogers Turner is a distressing example of how ongoing misconduct can exacerbate the severity of legal and social consequences for an educator. Heather D.A.'s betrayal of trust. Heather D.A., an aide at a Bible camp, breached the trust placed in her when she entered into a sexual relationship with a 13-year-old student. Her actions led to a conviction and a sentence of 5 years in prison, with 4 of those years suspended. This chapter explores the severe breach of ethical duties by someone in a position of authority at a religious institution. It discusses the psychological impact on the young victim and the broader implications for religious communities when such scandals arise. Heather's case serves as a cautionary tale about the responsibilities of those tasked with the care and guidance of young individuals, and the severe repercussions that can follow when that trust is violated. Brianne Altus, multiple betrayals. Brianne Altus, a teacher at Davis High School, faced the consequences of having sexual relationships with 3 of her students. Sentenced to 2 to 30 years in prison, Altus's case became a focal point for discussions on the adequacy of sentencing in cases involving multiple offenses. This chapter examines the legal proceedings, Altus's own reflections during her parole hearing, and the impact of her actions on the students involved and the community at large. Her regretful acknowledgement at the parole hearing brings a human element to the often sensationalized narratives surrounding such scandals. Deborah LaFave, controversy over leniency. Deborah LaFave's affair with a 14-year-old student at a school in Temple Terrace, Florida, drew national attention, not only for the nature of the offense but also for the perceived leniency of her sentence, 3 years of house arrest followed by 7 years of probation. This chapter discusses the public and legal uproar over the sentence, the psychological profiles involved, and the media's role in shaping public perception of such cases. LaFave's story is often referenced in debates about gender biases in sentencing practices and the complexities of handling cases involving female perpetrators. Dufresne's scandalous conduct. Shelley Dufresne, a teacher at Destrehan High School, was involved in a highly publicized case where she engaged in a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old student, which escalated to include another teacher and resulted in threesomes. Dufresne received a 3-year deferred sentence and faced another trial. This chapter explores the additional legal challenges and public scrutiny faced by Dufresne, the involvement of another educator, and the impact on the student and the school community. Her case highlights the complexities and the ripple effects of teacher-student relationships that go beyond the 2 individuals directly involved. Alexandria Vera, a relationship too far. Alexandria Vera, a middle school teacher in Houston, crossed numerous lines when she engaged in a relationship with a 13-year-old student, which was known to the boy's parents. The relationship led to her pregnancy, which she terminated, and ultimately, a 10-year prison sentence. This chapter addresses the legal and ethical dimensions of Vera's actions, the role of the boy's parents, and the societal reactions to this shocking case. Vera's story is a disturbing example of how deeply inappropriate relationships can affect all parties involved, and the severe legal ramifications that can ensue. These stories serve as a stark reminder of the boundaries that should never be crossed in the educational environment. Each case we've explored today not only ended in severe personal consequences for the teachers involved, but also left lasting impacts on the students and communities. It's crucial for educators to uphold the highest standards of conduct to foster a safe and supportive learning environment. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. See you in the next video.